This is Recruitment Agency Ignition with Andy Whitehead. Helping you build your recruitment employment business fast. Using digital and automation and one-to-many systems, tools, and inbound strategies.
So let me do this then, guys. On the one hand, why is it someone else can run the exact same process and 2.5x their business in the first 6 months in a very, very similar niche, not quite get the same outcome by another business? I'll tell you what it comes down to, one word: control. Control. So I'm going to come to that. Now, Miguel, I'm going to be talking to you, Miguel. I think your challenge, Miguel, is, and it's something that I know will apply to more than one business, is if we use RRR to your legal space, because it's cold, it may not be the best thing. So we need another way to engage your client, or indeed your candidate, which isn't a direct cold element or direct cold approach, whatever term you want to use. Is that correct? Yep. I'm going to unmute you right now, Miguel. So Miguel, are you there?
I am here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Obviously, you've gone through a tough time.
The word you're looking for.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on, Miguel. One thing I want to focus on is around a specific constraint you've got. Okay. And my understanding of it is we need candidates, but because we're in the legal market, there may be concern around approaching a solicitor, etc., using a cold approach because it's going to piss them off.
That's partly it. That's partly it. I need clients more than I need candidates.
So let's do this. Because I want to make this something that we can be reused and adopted, or more so adapted by other members. I want to focus on what the key constraint is. So if I've got it not exactly right, let me know. But one constraint is then we can't use a cold. We can't just go out cold and say, "Do you want this job?" or "Are you hiring?" Can we? That's one constraint.
I think it's easier to do the latter. I think it's difficult to contact candidates at work, and if I get private emails, I'll go, "Where the hell did you get this from?" So I just don't want to go down there when it comes to candidates. I'm happy to try cold outreach for clients.
Okay, so what's the outcome? What's the outcome that we want then?
The outcome that I want is that I want to get. We're working a retained model, and I want to get 4 retained new instructions per month.
Okay. To make that happen, what needs to happen then? So I'm trying to turn this into a topic that we can apply to other businesses. So so retained is one. Is there a challenge around the cold approach or not?
To candidates or clients?
So we said we want 4 per month. So what does that mean then? What needs to happen for 4 per month? What do you need?
Right. So tracking back and reverse engineering. In our first 9 months as a new business, I converted 1 out of every 2 pitches that we did, based on relatively warm and receptive potential clients, because they've been recommended, and some had found us on LinkedIn as a result of the strategies that I put in place initially with you guys.
Okay. So,
and I have taken a slightly less optimistic approach in terms of the ratio, and I'm going for 1 in 3. Okay. Therefore, I need 12 leads per month to speak to. Okay.
So before we've had a 1 in 2 conversion. Now we're saying be 1 in 3. So we've got 12. So number one, why is that, and what needs to happen for us to make that for that to happen? Why can't we replicate what's happened before, or can we?
There's no reason that we can't. I just haven't tried it yet with the colder strategies. All I'm saying is that what I was doing before was less predictable, in that the first 90 days was a couple of businesses finding me that I'd never heard of and hadn't expected them to find me. But because of the connection strategy, They found me because I was then in their extended network.
Yeah.
So I haven't been doing the LinkedIn connection strategy since the beginning of, or since mid to end of October. I've turned it off briefly, and it's been not gone back on whilst Wendy's been away.
Okay.
Simply because I just need to reset and focus on things that I think we can do with 2 people rather than with 3, or 2 plus a VA, etc. So I'm basically I'm taking a step back to basics before I move forward, is effectively what I'm saying.
Okay, got it. So we need to get these 12 engagements, these 12 leads, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. And so the first thing is going from, when I read the notes, it was, we cannot use a cold approach. We've got to find a way to essentially get you appointments with clients without actually talking about selling, and be a sales in any way. So there's many ways we can do that, okay?
Yep.
So before, when you had these, you closed 1 in 2. Those 1 in 2, was it a referral? Did they demonstrate they got an open role? What was happening?
It was mainly people being referred to us and recommended, because we've been doing, myself and Andy have been doing it for a while, but clients hadn't used this before. The client hadn't used this before. Okay.
And what have we done the last 60 days to get new clients, or nothing? Because we switched off since October.
Very little.
Okay.
To be fair, very little.
What's the VA been doing since that time?
I don't have a VA yet. I'm going through the process of trying to select one at the moment.
Okay.
Like I said to Tracy, I'm way back in the in the nursery slopes.
Yeah. So our outcome then is to get you these 12 leads, which should be fairly simple, really. We're talking about that sort of number. Okay. One is we shape the tree around our existing, and 2 is we put up a plan in place to essentially more colder. The using LinkedIn to approach your marketplace, I don't think it's going to be in any way inflammatory, Miguel. If you do it in the right way, I think maybe, as you said, if you go out and use an email strategy, you may or may not piss them off if you're doing a quote, a double R sales strategy. But what I've done is I'd laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategies we could use using double R to get client engagement. I.e., if you can have 20 conversations with a client per month, by the sounds of it, some of that will turn into business, won't it?
Yes.
But what we won't know in the process is whether they're hiring or not. So getting the engagement with the client is one thing, but then getting the engagement with the client who's actually hiring right now is another thing. So there's so many different caveats here to cover. So first off, the existing process that you had before, can we get that? Can we essentially just repeat what we did before?
I can switch the LinkedIn machine back on. Yeah.
So if we switch it back on, what do you think will happen?
There'll be increased number of conversations, but I need it to be with hiring clients, not candidates.
Okay.
I'm passing all candidates to Andy.
So to do that, then that comes down to targeting our avatar, doesn't it?
Yep. So
can we retarget our campaign? So rather than target candidates, we can target clients.
That's right. Yep.
So to do that, what do you think we need to do?
Well, I need to start double R, which is on the agenda.
On LinkedIn, though, if we focus on LinkedIn first of all, so the first thing is we identify who. So, for example, how many clients are there in your niche? Clients on LinkedIn.
There are, in terms of the head of department avatar, about 3,500. Okay.
And of those, how many are in your network?
I haven't got the figure for that.
Just rough idea. Is it 100? Is it 500?
I'd probably say about 500. Yeah.
Okay, good. There's 2 things we can do here then. The 500, we want to engage them. Okay. Yep. And then the 3,000, we need them in your network. So we need to in your network. Okay. So
yeah.
When you've had success in the previous 9 months with these clients, and we've had the referral thing going on, etc., that's a completely different animal than what we're talking about now. Okay, so there's a number of different ways we can solve this. So again, there's I think in your situation here, Miguel, there's probably going to be something like this. There's going to be one referral and what we did before in 2018, redo it, repeat it. Then we've got the 500 here we engage direct, and then what we've got is the 3,000 we build and engage. Does that make sense? So what we're not going to do is rely on just one thing on LinkedIn. So right now I'm talking about LinkedIn, by the way, not just LinkedIn, okay? So if we look at how we're going to approach this at a high level, we might have LinkedIn, we might have RR, and we might have another. Does that make sense?
Yep.
In terms of actions, Miguel, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to get the LinkedIn turn back on. Okay, turn back on, and you need to get it turned back on. But the focus, i.e., who you're going to contact, is going to be clients. This is for invites. Okay, this is for invites. So your VA is going to connect with, say, 100 people a day, but it's going to connect with clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
Okay. Next thing, we've got 500 clients there who are in our network now. Inside those 500, are they all clients that have, or sorry, prospects who you've not used before, or they've not used you? They all
correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what we need to do then? What do you think would be the best method for you to get onto have a conversation with them?
Have a follow-up strategy, which I didn't have before when I was using the LinkedIn connections. We were just connecting, and that's partly why I turned it off to reset.
Okay, so these 500 clients, if we need to get a conversation with 12 a month, if we go through a number of steps here, we should be able to get that, Miguel. Okay, and right now I think we should forego RR. I think we should just focus on LinkedIn as of today. Next week, different conversation. Okay, let's just get the monkey off the back and just get some simple steps in place. So number one, LinkedIn turn back on, but your VA is going to target clients. So your client, rather than be a candidate, it's going to be clients, or it might be the same because it might be a senior candidate, which is a client and a candidate, but the message might be slightly different. But you're going to send an invite. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So those to the 3,000 you're not connected with. Now, if we invite 500 a week and we get 30, 40, 50% acceptance, and you've got additional couple of hundred a week, in your network. Now, there's 500 in your network right now. So these 500, what we want to do is we want to get them onto a call, don't we? We want to get them onto a call. So your avatar better than me. If we approach your client, what's going to be the way that we frame it? So, for example, if you reference, your 24/7, 365 inbound system, etc., it might not be perfect right now, Miguel, and of course it isn't. Or if you reference your 10 years in the business, what would be a driver to get them on a call from step 1, step 2, step 3? So by the third communication, we can actually get them onto a conversation. What do you think would be the best method to make that happen? Have you got templates you used before to make that happen?
No, I haven't. No, not through LinkedIn. No.
So what? But you have on another means, another platform, whatever. No. I had been thinking about turning RR on and using Sunny's is basically what I was referring to there. I know we're going for LinkedIn now, but I don't have a template for generating that conversation. So last year, what did we do? So what did we do for those conversations that we had last year?
I was, to be honest, I was there wasn't a set template that I was sending back when they were connecting with me. I was just engaging them with normally with a freehand for want of a better word. Okay, so how did that go? So we can still do that freehand. That's absolutely cool because we just want to open that engagement. But these 500. We want to get them into a conversation. So to get them into that conversation, what did we do before? Although it might be freehand, what were we doing before? To be honest with you, most of them were wanting to be candidates, and so there were candidate conversations happening. But so there were the people that are both a foot in both avatars, avatars on both sides of the line, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So they weren't that interested in talking to me about hiring people, if you see what I mean. So it's one of those ones where you bide your time a little bit with those. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's focus on the next 30 days, next 60 days max, okay? Because the reality is you can run a sales campaign 4 times a year. You're not going to piss people off because in intermittent times you're going to have different campaigns running. So you can run direct campaigns like that 4 times a year. Even in the legal space on LinkedIn,
you can be more aggressive than this, okay, Miguel? And again, let's focus on you getting paid. So, and the reality is, if we go out and we put our head out the window to 1,000 people, two people are going to say you're a dickhead. It's life. But let's focus on what our outcome is. The outcome is getting you paid. So what we need to do, we need to power forward and know we're going to have 1 or 2 bumps along the way. So what I want you to do, these 500, we want to send out templates to these 500, okay? Now, we're not going to come out with that template right now on the call. Now, what we want to do is we want to get you, these 500, we want to get you engaging with them right now, Miguel. So that means knowing if you send out 500 messages, you're not going to get 50 people say, where do we sign up? What we need is to get you paid. So we need to look at this in real terms. However, if we don't get through that 500, nothing's going to happen. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So what I want you to do is the templates. There are templates inside LinkedIn campaigns, but I'd have a chat with Ken McCarthy or go to his hot seat, okay, around that template, what we send out here. Now, the reality is that 500 you can send out. So on a daily basis on LinkedIn, you connect with 100 and let's say 50 accept, and you send, say, 50 messages per day. That's 250 per week. So that means you've got 500, so 250 a week connecting as well. So that means you've got 250 messages going out per week, and also you're connecting with 250 a week. So that then becomes something you can just reproduce week after week after week. Does that make sense? It becomes, it feeds itself. So as long as your VA connects with 100 a day and 50 accept, you can send out 50 messages per day forever, until you get through your entire niche. So is this perfect right now? No, we don't know what the template is. However, we just need to get traction. So this is we need to get it turned back on. We need to focus on the client, not the candidate. So this is invitations, but then we need to message this 500, then also message those that then start to connect with us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
totally.
All we need is 12 conversations. Now, the reality is, because these might be colder, you might need a bit more. But you've been pessimistic already. You've already gone from 2 to 1 to 3 to 1. But the reality is, though, Miguel, if we look at these numbers already, it's not looking impossible. Let's say that, okay? Because all we're talking about is 12. Okay?
Yep.
Now, next, number 4. Last year, you had success with referrals and existing contacts. You got introduced to companies, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. So can we rerun whatever we did then? What did we do to make that happen, to control that, to get introduced? What were we doing then to do that?
It was, I can't, to be honest with you, I can't put my finger on it, apart from being good and people knowing us that we've helped before, and the natural tendency of people to want to help people that they know and suggest me. So
right then, so let's make this just a set of real simple systematic steps, okay? So number 1, who is this, or who are they? So make a list.
Yeah.
Is it a list of? And I mean literally make a list. Don't overthink this. Just make a list. So these could be these 20 past clients, or it could be these 100 companies or gentlemen or ladies I've met out on networking events. Make a list. Just make a list. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you've got that relationship, call them. If you think that's the best way to do it, call them. If you think sending an email or a LinkedIn message, then call them, but call them. Okay, so we've not done this. We've not turned anything on since October. So let's just let's get re-engaged with these guys and girls now, and let's reinvigorate this this referral process. It's not fully systemized, of course, but let's turn that on. How many do you think might be in that list?
Probably, 50? I'd say about 50, 60.
Okay, good, 50. So 50 there. We've got 250 messages we can send per week on LinkedIn. So straight away, 12 a month isn't looking too shabby. Isn't looking too shabby.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So even just simplifying the process, if we send out 50 messages for 5 days and we get no responses or we get nothing positive, we're not going to keep doing it. But then also remember this, we just need 12 conversations. So if we send out 250 for the week and from that we get 5 conversations, is it perfect? Probably not. However, if we do the same next week and get 5 conversations, you're going to repeat it? Yeah, that's 20 conversations for the month. Does that make sense? So let's just focus on getting you 12 just using LinkedIn. But what you must do though is start now, start today, start tomorrow, and it becomes, let's lay it out into 7, 14, 21, 28. And then let's be clear about this. In the next 7 days, we want to invite 500. Be clear about that. We want to send 250 messages. Does that make sense? That's on LinkedIn. And then here, we want to assess how many responses did we get from that 250. So if we've got nothing, we're not going to do it again the following week. If we did get, say, 3 responses or 3 positive, as in 2 or 3 opportunities to speak to someone, chances are next week it'd be a bit more because there's a little bit of lag time. So you might just literally repeat it. But to get you 12 calls, or 12 appointments, I don't think it's going to be too difficult, Miguel, as long as we're aggressive with it. And that means that means start now. Get the VA, get this moving, and don't worry about it being perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the second thing is these referrals. I take the view of these referrals. If you've got that list of 50, as much as I hate the whole, but these aren't cold. These people you've engaged with. I get on the call with them, and I'd have a big thing on my wall. Be saying, right, 12 appointments equals 4 placements, which equals my monthly figure, which equals I've bloody done it. I'd have it in front of me. I know it sounds silly, but because you're going through a real tough time right now, Miguel, you need to consistently have this reinforced in your head that this isn't a big black hole. This isn't impossible. What this is breaking it down into a set of daily metrics, which is invite 100, send 50. Okay, and then look at the results in the day. Sit down with the VA end of the day. Say, right, what's our metrics? And on the screen here, I'm not sure whether. Look here. So this is, you might use a template, something like this. You probably got it already, but you got the channel's going to be LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah.
The name of the person. So what your VA is going to do, end of each day, they're going to all the replies you get in. They have the name of the person. So it'd be Joe Blogs. The message that you sent, so they're going to copy and paste the message you sent so you can track it. The reply you got from that contact, they're going to copy in there. So, hi, Miguel. You're way too good looking to deal with us, so we don't want to speak to you anymore, Miguel. Whatever the reply is going to be, it's going to be in there. Date of reply, really important. Now, why is that important? One thing we've been testing for the last 3 months or so, and I'm very excited to share with you guys, is I'm really excited about a strategy that we're testing in the background, which integrates all social media, your website, LinkedIn, all the messaging, RR into one place. So data reply is really important. And the reason why is we want to make sure that we don't leave things to go cold. I believe that the world's gone so ADHD now that we need to get these things. We need to go from a warm conversation to speaking to them within 24 hours or get it set in place. So date of reply. So you might send a message on Monday the 1st. Reply might be the 5th because they're not going to be on LinkedIn every day. And then your response in there, you're going to put in what you want the VA to do. Okay. Then they're going to put in what the next reply is. So end of each day, you're going to do this. You might even do it twice a day. So what I found really almost inspiring from Peter last week was he'd speak to the VA first thing in the morning at 9 a.m., then again at 1 p.m., and then have a weekly session. That was the gold for me on that session, the control. Not letting things go for 3-4 days and looking at what we got. And in our testing process now, I'm seeing exactly the same. It's about having that control on the day. So if you go through this, and then the final message might be, hi, Steve, I'm away for 2 days. I'll give you a call on Friday at 11 a.m. How's that for you? Something like that. But let's get these appointments in the diary. Does that make sense? Or the message to get them?
Yeah. Does the actual content of the message go into these?
Yes,
response?
the actual, yeah. So what you don't want to do, because your time for you is a killer right now, Miguel. So you're going to create the sheet. And in fact, I'll go through a handover blueprint in a minute and I'll make it around this for you, okay?
Okay.
So I'll show you how to lay it out for your VA, okay?
Right, yeah.
So, but in terms of what you do, and these are now things, okay, Miguel? Number one, we've got our LinkedIn, you've got to turn it back on. It worked before, let's turn it back on, but focus on clients. Okay? Invites, 100 per day. The 500 clients that we're currently connected to, let's message them. And then the referrals and the 50, 60 in your list, speak to them. All we need is 12, Miguel. 12.
Yeah.
We can do that. We can do that. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's get through this next 7 to 14 days. Then breather, but of course, share metrics. then maybe incorporate double R. But if you do it right now, I think it will be an obstacle to actually getting this moving because you're spinning so many plates.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, thank you.
Discover how to build your recruitment employment agency using one-to-many automation and inbound strategies before anyone else in your market specialization. Check out recruitmentmarketinginternational.com.